Hello, welcome to Tabula Rasa. This is going to be a comic book impressions, a little bit different from my comic book reviews in that I give you my impression of it, but there is no score at the end. So, this book today on impressions is called Camp Spirit, published April 1st, 2020 by Axel Lenore, colors by Cap. They did the Excel, I think, also did the artwork for this. Publisher is Top Shelf Productions, and this is 212 pages of absolute great comic bookness. Is that even a word? For those of you who are in the nerdiest, I have to say, this is an LGBT story, right? But it doesn't scream, lesbians or, gay or that kind of stuff. It is really good. And it starts off with a character, Elodie, who goes to her summer job, which is a camp which was forced by her mother. And from there, we have a great adventure, such a unique art style. The colors are there, they're vivid, and they help enhance the story, which is always a good thing. Sometimes you don't see it in comic books, especially on the American side, where they just don't enhance the story. But I do have to say, it was about as good as it can get. One of the best things that I liked about it was that for the story, you had a beginning, middle, an end, and resolution, right? Nothing about it felt preachy. Nothing about it really felt, it was just really enjoyable. The artwork in itself is very unique. It has a couple of moments where it's like, oh, it just, makes me laugh, and it totally, I don't know why, but I really couldn't predict the plot of this. The consistency is great. Paneling work, it is pretty good, actually. It's all squares and rectangles, so that part is like, but it's done to the best of its ability, and it just flows from one to the next. So I have to say, really do like it, and just, it is overall a good book, I think. And I can't believe this was published this year, usually on Comixology, not sponsored, by the way. A lot of their borrowed books that you do if you have unlimited, they're usually older books published back in the 2000s, early 2000s, 1990s, whatnot. Sometimes it's great because then you can see some of the older stuff, which is, fun in itself. But this one, new comic book, new ages, lots of expression, lots of unique personality. Just absolutely love it. And, you know, each chapter is episodic, but it plays into an overall story, an overarching theme, and it's just so nice to see it all in one book. And it was just very fun. It took me about 25 minutes to work through this 212-page masterpiece, but easily I could reread it over and over again just because it's interesting, to say at the very least. And I really enjoy the interesting stuff. Some parts in there I thought were a little, but again, it's kind of a goofy setup story kind of thing. So, didn't take away from it at all. Like the way that the little redheaded kids were acting and whatnot. Oh man, if this was like a TV miniseries, oh my gosh, fun, worth it. Although they probably would just screw it up and just make a sequel series and whatnot. But it's nice to have a contained story, mixed of the genres a little bit. You get a little bit of horror, you get a little bit of goofy, fun camp stuff, you get a little bit of the romance. Just overall, love it. And there was a couple of scenes in there, especially in chapter 2, or chapter 2, where the character did not want to use the public bathroom, and I agree. For some reason, American public bathrooms, or I guess in this case, I think it might be Canadian, but either way, why can't people use public bathrooms properly? It is gross. Just saying. But fun, good comic book. You will enjoy it, I think. And even if you're not into the LGBT centric stories, this guess what? This isn't really that. I mean, it's there, right? But I think this is about as good of an example of representation that you can get, um, at least as far as dealing with white people. So, yay! I mean, I don't know. Some people feel like, oh, if you don't have everybody there, then it doesn't count. But I think overall, whatever your political messaging thing is, that's only the context, the background of it. The most important thing in these sort of things isn't what message you're trying to say. It's how good the story is, and this one was great, refreshing. I do hope you take the time to read it and enjoy it because you'll definitely definitely, I think, enjoy it. And on Comixology, um, not sponsored by the way, it is usually $11.99, but you get a 10% discount. And I guess right now they're having a sale, so 212 pages for $5.39. Come on, that is a deal, and it's enjoyable. I think you'll love it. Um, quick note though, not for the younger kids. Just saying. Uh, I would say high school on up, or late middle school, depending on how mature your kids are. Just saying. But yeah, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this impression of this comic book, Camp Spirit. Very lovely book. So thank you for listening. Do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It does help the channel and feed the algorithm, so they say. So thank you. Hope you're having a good day or good evening, and ciao, everybody.